Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 337, Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gatr, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. Well, in today's show, it's the last show of 2025. Last week, I sat down with my longtime friend Warcry, and tonight, I sat down with another longtime friend as well. Our guest tonight was one of our youngest members of our community, but is also considered one of our OGs as well. You can hear his first interview on episode 48 titled Arrivals of Bungie Reveals from June 15th of 2020. We've had him on every year around the Christmas time. We usually have Warcry and Jellis on. This year, we decided to have them on separate episodes so we can talk more in depth with each of them. But please welcome from the great state of Ohio, Jellis, a.k.a. Jellis Gaming. How you doing, man?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on again this year.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you. We definitely got a lot to catch up on here. But in today's show, we're, of course, going to catch up with Jellis, see what's been going on in his life since we last spoke with him over a year ago now. We'll, of course, talk some Destiny 2 as well. We'll discuss the new Vidoc that just dropped for Bungie's new extraction shooter game, Marathon. I have a topic of the week that I spoke about with Warcry, and I want to run it by Jellis. He hasn't heard it yet, and I want to hear what his take is on it as well. I'll also put him through our fast fire question and answer segment we call, oh yeah, the speed run. We'll finish out the episode with some additional holiday questions that I will ask Jellis. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, but we like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well, especially in our roundtable episodes, which typically are every month. And this show today is not live, but we normally do go live on my YouTube and Twitch. That's Todd the Gatr, TODDTHEGATR, and our live stage channel on our Discord, where you can actually listen in or actually see our faces just by clicking that RSVP event tab in our Discord server, and it will notify you when we go live. We also engage with our chats in all three areas as well. It's typically on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and we also have the replays on my YouTube and Twitch channels. And of course, the audio version is available whenever you like. You can go to guardiandowncast.com to access that or whatever podcast player out there that you use. Well, if everyone's ready, let's roll. Hey, it's Todd with Guardian Downcast. You know, there's all kinds of ways that you can contact us. You can contact us on X. You can hit up our Instagram. You know, you can send us a voicemail, or you can even email us.
You can just tell them, go to the website at guardiandowncast.com.
You know what, Mike? You're exactly right. guardiandowncast.com. Later, Guardian. Well, Mr. Jellis Gaming, let's catch up, man. I know it's been a whole year since we've talked. I'm trying to remember how old you were when you were first in our community. I think you were 15, if I'm correct. You're like one of our youngest members. Well, we've been doing this podcast for over 6 years, so does that sound about right? You're about 21 now?
No, way off. I've been a member in the Discord since episode 19. I mean, not episode 19, 2019.
That's right. 2019, that's when we started, July.
And I got in when Warcry was your first guest, so it was like episode
2. Yes.
So I found you guys when episode 2 had released.
Wow.
Went back and listened to episode 0 and episode 1, and I have been with you guys every step of the way.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy.
So when I got on the podcast in episode 48,
right.
I was 20 years old. I am now 25. I
Wow.
will be 26 come March.
Man, that's just time flies, doesn't it? Jeez. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, okay, now catch me up here. Last time I spoke to you last year, I was very impressed, by the way, because you were involved in an apprenticeship as an electrician and in the electrical field, and I believe you were doing maintenance calls for the big the big amusement Cedar Point, yes, in Ohio. And you were actually working on fixing roller coasters out there, which, man, I've always wanted to know what that's like. But what's changed since then, since we talked to you, as far as your job?
Yep. So that job wrapped up for me at the beginning of the following year, which was this year. So moved on to some school renovations. There was a elementary school that was starting the second phase. So it was like a whole other wing was getting redone. We had to strip down all the walls, tear out all the old electrical wiring, and ground up besides the structure of the building. We rebuilt that entire wing. And it was me and one other person who was very poor in a leadership position. He would just sit on his butt all day, but it allowed me to grow because then I had to step up, look at the blueprints, start working with the general contractor, following a timeline, getting the schedule done. And I was just reporting to him what material needed to be to the job. We were able to complete it in 4 months.
Okay.
With just two of us.
Wow.
It was great growth for me because it was an independent role that I had to take up on and take all the licks on the chin with how critique this person was, even though they weren't doing any of the work.
I think we've all had that employee that just wants to coast and kind of quiet quit. You hear that during the pandemic. You heard people about quiet quitting. They were showing up and hitting the time clock, but then not really doing anything during the day. Yeah, I know it makes it doubly hard for you, but that was a good thing for you because you had to teach yourself. You had to take charge of the project, and I mean that's awesome training, man. You can't buy that,
For sure. One of the parts that made me feel really good about myself, there was another person that would come in and they were doing the fire alarm. They worked with us through the company.
Mm-hmm.
They came in to do the fire alarm system. So there was 3 points in time that they would come in, do their little bit, and then they would come back for like a month or two. Every time they came in, they got to see like how far we were progressing from the last time they were there. And they were asking, hey, like, you guys get any more people out? And I was like, nope, it's just me doing all this work. And he was so impressed. And the final thing that put the nail in the coffin in a good aspect is when I walked off that job site, the general contractor gave me the handshake and said, this job would not have gotten done if you weren't here. So that let me know that I did what I needed to do.
That is so good to hear, man. I just did an episode on my 50 years experience required where I talked about AI proofing your job, and it's episode 8, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and I mean what you're doing is exactly what I'm talking about. That actual physical completion of a job and just getting that satisfaction, which you can actually see, is that you did, that you completed. You can't see that in a lot of jobs today, It's kind of hard to get that instant reward like that. That's awesome to hear, man. So what became of that, by the way, after you finished that project?
So after that project finished, I went to do a expansion on a hospital, which was 5 minutes from my house. It was awesome. Nice short drive.
Mm-hmm.
There was older people there that actually know my father in the trade. They didn't know who I was for the first 2 days, and they were just calling me Stick, Twig, because I'm on like the smaller side. Which is fine. I'm used to that harassment at this point.
Sure.
It's all fun and games, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, day 3 working with me, they're like, all right, kid, what's your name? I can't keep calling you this. And I was like, it's John. And they're like, John what? And I told them my last name, and they're like, well, la-di-da. I didn't know I was in the presence of royalty, And it was just a nice laughter. But later that day, there was an incident where stuff wasn't happening, and I gave tone to another coworker. And it was right when that person walked in, I was like, I was giving them some nasty comments to like get their butt in gear.
Mhm.
And they were like, I knew I was in the presence of royalty. They're like, that's the attitude that I'm used to.
You think you're being tested?
Just,
I wonder if you're being
oh,
tested.
no, I wasn't being tested.
No.
It was just one of those like natural things that I stepped up and it was like,
Timing
hey,
was
we need to get
perfect.
this done now. And people were slacking off. And
Yeah.
when the boss walked in and I'm just over here cracking that whip to be productive, they were like, yep, just like chip off the old block.
That's awesome.
You know?
That's good to hear, man. So I think we were talking before the show that you just completed your contract with them and that you're making a transition to another company now. Are you able to talk about it or?
Yes, yeah. So I just finished working inside of a Ford plant in Ohio, and I am going to stay in state. I'll be working on a school district. This is going to be a K through 12. There's 4 buildings on this campus. This project will go until December of 26. So
Okay.
I will be on this job for the entirety of all of next year. Now, little rough patches in between. If the job gets slow for a day, they might send me to help out another crew.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be my home for the next year at this job site. I do plan on working at this next company for a while, like to be a forever home per se.
That's good. Is the pay and benefits kind of creeping up too? Getting better pay and better benefits?
For sure. After the incidences that I was just describing, they put me in let's call it like a junior foreman position.
Nice.
And they threw me on a 610s. I've been on 610s since August.
Oh my gosh.
Monday through Saturday from 7 to 5:30.
Wow.
And I have my school twice a week, plus bowling and other stuff.
Oh
so
my gosh,
it's been a little
man.
tight, but we've been pulling it through. But yeah, they put me in an apprentice foreman position because there was a certain project going on and I started picking up on what was happening, what was next, what I was foreseeing. So the foreman was like, hey, I'm just going to relay to you what I'm being told, and you just take these 2 guys and, go to town on it. And I was doing very well, so they gave me a little change on the side to boost my morale to be like, hey, we see what you're doing. They were like, you earn, not give. Some people in this trade are like, oh, you should give me this. And they're like, well, you're not doing what it's worth. So I proved that I was worth it and they gave it to me. And I was able to maintain up until the end of the contract. So
prime example, man. You put your nose when you're young, it behooves you to outwork everybody and just put your head down and just get to work. Don't look up, just focus on your work and get it done. And then you feel good too when you come home. You come home and you've worked a nice full day and you made a difference that day when you went to work. And that's what I love about the trades, man. You have that physical. It's hard to explain unless you're in it, and I know there's probably a lot of listeners that are in the trades, but I mean, doesn't matter what you do, just you get home and you like, that was a good job today. I did a good job today. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear you're just doing better. I mean, I'm not really surprised, to be honest. I knew a long time ago that if you lived in Florida, I'd hire you because not for electrician work, but I just know you'd be a very good employee. And I'm telling you, man, it's so hard to find good people these days. I don't understand. It's almost like there's an air of entitlement anytime someone's hired these days. People think they're entitled to this or that. I'm like, no, man, you got to earn that. You want that respect? You got to earn that respect. You want higher pay? You got to show me that you're producing really well and efficiently in order so I can pay my bills, so I can pay your bills. And people don't get that. They just think they can just show up and just push a button and they should get everything they need. And I don't understand it because it's not the way to live, because eventually you're going to burn out thinking that way, that everything's just going to be given to you these days. And I don't know about you, but my daughter's been looking for work and she looked for 6 months trying to find a job. She's a graphic artist and she still freelances for a lot of companies on the side and makes good money. But she's got just a part-time job right now just to pay, her bills and stuff. But the problem today, Jellis, is nobody meets you face to face anymore for a job. It's all done through AI or through digital means, which means you don't even get a picture of the person you're trying to hire. You get no sense of who they are or how good a worker they're going to be, and that's just, unfortunately, I know my kids excel in that because I taught them well to respect their elders and to do and work hard. And you work hard, you get paid well. But the problem is today, you're just a number. It's just really sad because you're pretty much, everybody's put on an even keel when of that list of 100 people, there's probably 20 of them in there that are just killers that would just, really help your company. But unfortunately, what they have to do is they just hire the next person off the list. And if they don't work out or quit, then they move down to the next person on the list. It's like you're it's like you're in a line waiting to get a job. That's just not the way to do it, man. I know there's services out there like Indeed, and you got headhunters out there that find corporate jobs and stuff for people. I have neighbors, that's what they do. But it's that art of going and actually shaking hands with the manager or the supervisor or whatever and actually proving to them that you're the right person for the job. Those days are over, man. It's really hard to do that these days. So you've worked through your apprenticeship. Now, are you a full tradesman now, or do you still have a little bit of school left?
I have just 4 months left. I will be a full-fledged journeyman in May. So you guys have been with me through this entire journey, plus the college I went to beforehand.
That's right, because weren't you even still in high school?
No, I was 2 years into college.
Gotcha.
When I was on the podcast in 2020,
you were 20.
Just got my associates.
Gotcha.
And I was working on bachelor's. I finished the bachelor's, so I got a bachelor's in electrical engineering, and now I will be a journeyman here in a few months.
Fantastic. And you know what's nice about that, Jellis? You can take that anywhere in the world. I mean, you may have to know standards for Germany's electric grid, but what I'm saying is that is a skill that you'll never lose. And that's just something to put in your pocket and know that you have worth and you have value anywhere you go. Yeah, man, I'm really happy for you, man. That's really good. It's really good. I don't mean to jump on the hype train as far as the trades, but every time I think of trying to get my kids into a job, I always think about your situation where you've really worked hard and got where you are. And it has to be a reflection on your parents, how well they raised you and taught you the right from wrong and how things need to be done. What did you say your dad did again?
My dad is also an electrician.
Makes sense.
My entire lifestyle was based off of this kind of work. So it was definitely one where I knew it was a sustainable life.
Yep.
He raised me to be my own man, not to follow in his footsteps unless I wanted to. He never forced anything on me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when you go to choose a career path, check all these certain boxes I'm laying out for you. And when I finished college and it wasn't going to be a good career path, I was able to use my knowledge and go into this trade. And I knew this trade was going to be a sustainable life for me and that it could be done as a solo person. I didn't need to rely on another partner. It can be self-sustainable. So that was something I was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, when it's all on you, you literally shape your destiny. You have full control on where you go in the future. And now that you're going to be a full journeyman in 4 months, congrats, by the way. That's awesome. You stuck through it and got done while working 60-hour weeks. I need my kids to listen to this podcast, but no, they work hard too. But so I'm just curious, is your dad self-employed or does he work for another company?
He works for another company. Okay. He has been with that company since 98.
Uh-huh.
So he's going on 27 years with this one company.
Wow.
It's unheard of.
That is today.
Because a lot of people, they chase the money and they hop around. Not him. He put his nose to the floor, built a reputation with the company, and through that, he's earned respect. He's been given slack on a leash, per se.
Yep.
So a lot of his jobs, he's got full control over, and the owner don't even put their nose in it because they can trust him to get it done. If he asks for something out of the blue, they're like, hey, if he's asking for it, that means he needs it. So,
and he's an asset to the company.
Exactly.
Yep. People don't understand that. They chase that short-term paycheck and not realizing that sometimes there is a place with companies these days. Company loyalty, I'll agree. Company loyalties are very short, and I think they said the average length of most jobs today is about 2 to 5 years. That's pretty short. It's pretty short.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's people that they go to top out. they choose a company that gives them a pay raise 6 months in advance because there's pay tiers we have.
Right.
The company they go to will say, hey, we'll give you that final pay tier early if you want to come work with us. And they'll do that. I would say about 90% of those people, they leave that company within 2 years, like you were saying. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
Mm.
I said, you need to build a reputation because now what's going to happen is you jump ship. Let's say you run out of work again. You go back. That company's going to be like, hey, I remember this person. They screwed me over.
Then you have to ask yourself, why are they so desperate, or why are they offering so much incentive to get people from another company? Probably because they can't hold on to their own people. Yep. You got to look at the inside info there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm happy for you, man. Man, you think of all the places you've worked now. You've worked at a Ford plant. You've worked at a school building. You've worked on roller coasters. Am I forgetting anything?
Hospitals. I've worked at a wastewater treatment plant in cities.
That's fantastic.
I've worked inside of a justice center. I've worked inside of a courthouse.
That's awesome. That was another one of my benefits in my episode, is the fact that you could be working, like I could be working in an office building one day, treating a corporate account, and then I could be spraying a residential on the next. Yeah, it's awesome, man. All right, well, I'll get off the blue collar kick. And I'm curious, you've been playing some Destiny?
Yes, I have.
Well, what have you been up to in Destiny? I mean, I know as we're recording this is not recorded the same week it comes out, but I know the Dawning event's going on right now. Have you been taking advantage of the Dawning, or? I
have not. I've been playing more of like a catch up. So the weekend after the game had their big update, my cousin and I jumped in and we did a single sit down session, busted through the
campaigns,
5-mission campaign of the newest release,
Renegades.
It's kind of a tradition for us. We don't do it to blow through the game. That's just kind of how we like to play. We don't like to have the break.
Right.
Because we got life going on. We come back and it's kind of like short-term memory. What's going on again? So we sat through, played the whole campaign. Then this week we started tackling that dungeon. And today I probably ran it for 6 hours straight, completing it, doing the little crystals that you get. Yeah. And you gotta take them back and drop them. So.
Yeah. Did you get the dark crystal for your Praxic blade?
Not yet.
Yeah. We ran it last week and Zombie got it. And Kingsley got it. Yeah. I think we're going to run it tonight, or we're going to do a raid tonight. I don't think we've decided what to do yet, but we're going to run it tonight. So you've run it for 6 hours, man. I mean, you're farming it then. You're trying to get those crystals to drop. What weapons have you gotten so far from the dungeon?
I got the blade in the heavy slot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's it. All the rest has been armor.
Yeah, see, that's what happened to me. I got I'm looking at my dim right now. Only weapon I got was the new heavy machine gun, the bitter end. You gotten that yet?
I don't think I have.
It is a lot of fun, man. Think of, if you're a Titan too, and I think you play Titan, I think if you there's a certain seasonal perk right now, seasonal mod in the artifact where you can actually literally just fire that thing and it just keeps refilling. Just crazy.
I don't think I see it in here. I got a sidearm on me right now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Uncivil Discourse. I don't know if that's from the dungeon specifically or not, but I've been running that. It's kind of neat.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
And the rest has just been armor, sadly.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if no, that might be the raid sidearm. I mean, the dungeon sidearm, because I don't have that either. Uncivil Discourse. It's a fun dungeon, man. Kingsley swears by it. He thinks it's the best dungeon out so far. What I love about this dungeon, Jellis, is that the first two encounters are pretty easy. They're pretty easy to follow. We did the day one, and we were able to follow it pretty well. The mechanic, we could learn it pretty quickly. And I mean, let's face it, we've been playing Destiny and Destiny 2 for 11 years. We start to understand mechanics a lot faster. But myself, Zombie Pops, and Ronin Red Lion, we ran it the first day one, the first Saturday it came out. And within like 2.5 hours, maybe 2.25 hours, we got it all done. That last encounter is a pain. Have you figured out how to stop the tickle fingers from the boss yet?
Yeah, you just shoot his hands.
We didn't know that. We were in day one. Yeah, we didn't know. I was trying to float around and get him to like light up some of the other things around that circular room. Like maybe I needed to activate something. Because once he locked onto you, you were dead. He just drained you of power. So how did you guys figure that out? You guys just started?
So my cousin and I have been D1 veterans through and through.
Yeah.
We also play lots of Dark Souls, Elden Ring, a lot of combat games. So we have a wide arsenal of knowledge to combat stuff that happens. We're already thinking of 3 things to try. And by the time we try the third one, we got 3 more to go. Or we go to do something and the other person's already done it. They're on the same wavelength. We've come across a lot of stuff in Destiny, whether they reuse a mechanic or we're like, hey, I sense this is going on. Let's do this.
Nice.
The one thing I picked up on in the final boss is, so you have the shock coils drop from the ceiling. On my own, I was like, hey, these buttons are active even though we're not in damage phase. So I like hit the button and it went back up. And I learned that if you succeed, but you have coils dropped, those coils will become active still.
Yep.
If you send them all up before you do damage phase, it won't activate. Now, if you fail the damage, then they all drop anyways.
Right.
So I figured that one out. I was like,
That's good.
This is kind of neat.
That's good. We figured that out. We figured that out, by the way, on day one. Eventually. Yep.
Well, we just ran around with the coils on for the
We did too.
First time we completed. We're like, hey, we're just going to deal with it.
Yeah.
We can fight
stay
on
outside. Yep. Stay outside.
The second boss, we were messing around. And again, I was like, man, what are these buttons for? So I was shooting the buttons and the electric coils on the ground light up like a lantern.
Right.
And I was shooting it using the force. I'm like, nothing's going on. And I instantly went, wait a minute. He's swinging a sword. And I told my cousin, like, hey, come stand by me. He's like, why? And after he said why, he already knew what I was thinking. He's like, oh.
Nice.
Comes over, swings his sword. I'm like, boom, damage time. Let's go.
Love it.
So we have so much fun. We do a majority of these activities without looking up videos. We'll look up the videos for like the secrets, the chest, or the collectibles and stuff.
Yeah.
But like all the mechanic stuff, we kind of like wing it because we love solving those kind of problems. That's
awesome, man. And I guess I should play more games, huh? I get more better knowledge like that for like Elden Ring and stuff. I played a little Elden Ring. I never finished it though. I can just get pulled in different directions. And like you, I'm working all day. I get home and I have to decide. I've got a few hours tonight. What am I going to do? But I had this topic on our last live show of the year. I'm just curious what you thought. The biggest down thing for me, the biggest disappointment, I guess I should say, about Renegades, the campaign, fantastic. I love the campaign. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I saw the parallels to Rogue One and to Episode 5 in the story. I saw the like Kingsley says, the 1-to-1 parallels. But I really was looking forward to doing the Syndicate work, doing the Syndicate contracts and stuff. But I can't get excited about it because you can't go and do it solo. It has to be match made. No, don't make me wrong. You can firewall it and make it a private match. But the problem is they flood you with enemies, which is fantastic. I love that. But you can't, because there's a modifier in it where every level you go, every round you go into that map, the enemies get fiercer and more numerous. And eventually I got to the 3rd level doing it by myself, I physically just couldn't do it. I'm not esoteric. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up. And then I had to do, then of course you have to do the mechanics as well. And then you have to be extracted all while not dying. You only have so many revives. So I went and tried to matchmake the next day. And as soon as we jumped in, I know a lot of people have already heard this story. They're probably, yeah, we get it, Todd. We get it. But as soon as I jump in, one person's AFK. So now we only have 2 people playing. So me and the Titan in front of me, we go in there swinging. Unfortunately, he's a Titan. He's a little aggressive, and he dies a few more times than me. I think I died twice total. But by my second death, there were no revive tokens left because they're shared between a match-made group. Think of the trouble there. Think of how people could grief others just by using all the tokens up. But that aside, I should not how well I do in the activity should not be based on shared revive tokens. So there lies the problem. I got stuck where all I could do was look in third person at the last guy standing. The other guy had already been booted because he was inactive. He already got kicked to orbit. So and it didn't backfill it with someone either, which was a pain in the ass. I got booted to orbit because I couldn't respawn in because I didn't have a token. But the message on it says looking for area to spawn in or something. So I was in limbo there, got kicked to orbit. And, when you don't complete everything, they'll still bring you back to the hangar where you can get some rewards. No, that never happened for me. And they didn't automatically go to my vault either. I checked. I just wasted 15 minutes of my life. That's all. So I was just curious if you've had a chance to play the syndicate part, the contracts and stuff. Or did you play the campaign and just bolt?
So I just did the campaign and bolt. But your story reminds me of a fun time that I had in the campaign. You're going to love this.
Okay.
So the mission we were doing was when you tried to save Spider's ship.
Right.
You were on the desert dunes and you did the mission at the end. They're like, oh no, he placed bombs, fight him off. So you have that big boss on the top and there's 2 levels to the stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
My cousin had to go AFK for a hot minute. Something happened. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, just put something on your keyboard and run into a wall so you don't disconnect, and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Right.
So all the mechanics in that mission, plus staying alive, plus you can't use healing abilities.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The auto rifle I had on was the adamantite,
which heals.
So I had that on equipped. I wasn't thinking. All this just played a part. So I wasn't thinking about it. He was running off into a corner, and the corner he ran into, he was out of everybody's way. He was just underneath a staircase.
Right.
So he's under a staircase. I now have to keep aggro from the boss, kill all the ads that nonstop spawn, then shoot him to keep him alive, then do the regular mechanics, then do damage. I was juggling a dozen things at once, right? He goes to come back. The boss has less than a third of health. He's like, hey, I'm back. He starts to move. And I said, don't move. I am doing something. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, look at the health bar. And the health bar's almost gone. He's like, oh. I'm like, if you move one step, you are going to screw this whole thing up for me right now. So he just literally stepped back, did nothing. And I just soloed that whole mission. He's like, hey, man, I was so sorry. I was like, dude, that was the most fun I've ever had. I was like, we've been blowing through this campaign. I'm like, I had to juggle all this stuff. And I did it without dying and without you dying, kept the revive token, kept you healed. I said, it was amazing.
That's fun.
I said, I haven't had that kind of a rush in a long time.
Well, you know what? It probably draws parallels to your job, right? Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
When you're completing that, and this is why I think they should take timers off of this crap, because I hate timers. Because if I'm by myself, I say I want to solo a Nightfall or something. If I'm doing it solo, obviously it's going to take me more time to do it, unless I'm esoteric. And see, this is the thing: people don't see all the takes that esoteric does before he actually records the one he keeps. He learns from trial and error, just like we all do. He just does it more often, and he's a damn good player. That's how we soloed Nightfalls in Destiny 1, remember? You'd figure out where the boss is, you figured out where you could go and not be injured. You could call it a cheese or whatever. And then we slowly eliminated the waves of enemies until we were just us and the boss. We'd whittle him down little by little and then knock him out. And man, best time ever playing Destiny.
Heck yeah.
But now,
that's fun, right?
But now you're on a timer if you try to solo any of this stuff. And after the timer runs out, they start taking score away. So you're fighting time, and anything you're killing, you're getting less score for. So you can't even get the grade that you're trying to get. It's just such a pain, man. I don't understand why Bungie shoots himself in the leg like this. There's some crazy high level stuff where fire teams need to be involved. But the fact that they made the Syndicate stuff, and I know you haven't played it yet, but you have to go back into this lawless frontier. This is the main activity of Renegades. And you have to complete contracts and keep getting your currency built up, where you start buying the upgrades within either with Spider or, within your whatever syndicate you decide to pick. But you have to go through Lawless Frontier. So the thing I love right now, I'm not playing any Lawless Frontier. I'm playing The Dawning because all I have to do is go play anything in the game. I get all the materials for my cookies. I'm getting my Essence of Dawning by doing solo ops. And then I'm just farming all that stuff up, and I'm just going to go make a crap ton of cookies, get all the rewards for it, get all the high-level gear, and I'm getting, of course, the Dawning weapons, which are not bad. You get a grenade launcher, you get a sidearm. I got the sidearm called Fimbulwinter Stitch. It's pretty good. It's a precision frame, and the one I have is really good for PvP. And then you get a permafrost grenade launcher, which is a wave frame. And there's some really, it's stasis, so it has some really good perks. Like I've got Rhyme Stealer and Crystalline Corpse Bloom, which works really well together. Heavy weapon wise, I think I've got that too. I got a tier 5 Mistral Lift, which they had this last year. It's a adaptive 3-burst linear fusion rifle. It's okay. Linear fusion rifles just aren't in the meta right now, at least not for me. Machine guns are doing pretty well right now as far as the raid DPS and stuff, but Kingsley's always figuring out better ways to get better numbers. But so I know you haven't played Lawless Frontier, and you've kind of just played the campaign, and you kind of got through the Renegades and stuff. Is there anything else you're gaming right now? Any other games you're playing right now?
So the other game I'm swapping on and off with Destiny is going to be Arc Raiders.
All right, I want to hear this. I want to hear this. So you like extraction shooters?
The way this game has been the entirety as of now,
right.
I love it. The developers are funny when it comes to fixes. There was glitches that people were exploiting. So they have locked rooms in the map, and people found a bug where you could shove somebody through the wall and get in, and then you can unlock the door from the inside. Well, they literally put out an update like how Destiny does, and they said, hey, we made a really hot fix for this glitch that you guys are doing. Emphasis on the word hot. Now, anytime that you glitch into the room, there is flamethrowers on the wall that instantly kill you.
Oh my God.
That
is insane.
They're like, this is the most awesome response ever. They said, we can't fix the bug, so we're just going to punish you in game and laugh at you.
They put in flamethrowers in the walls. That is crazy, man.
So the only way those flamethrowers get deactivated is if you use the proper entrance with a card key access that you find just on the ground.
Looking for stuff.
And it's amazing that they did that. A lot of other things, they've done little changes of like, hey, the drop rate was bad, so we slightly increased it, or found an issue here, so we changed that. And they haven't really adjusted mechanics. They just let the game go because everybody loves it. If something's broken as of now, they haven't changed it because they're like,
the
community likes it.
Yeah.
They just had let's call it the Christmas update this week. It went live. They gave you, I'm going to use Destiny terms, they gave us $10 worth of silver to say, hey, Merry Christmas, here's $10 of stuff, go buy cosmetics or whatever.
That's awesome.
And we're like, what? And they're like, yeah, have fun.
Wow. And if something, that may benefit us, maybe let us farm Bright Dust or something a little faster, Bungie's right there to shut it down. It's like the fun.
You're having fun?
It's like the fun police. Yeah. And they even had an update where they talked about in the future Renegades and stuff that if there was something that was game breaking, but, was benefiting players, they weren't going to worry about it. And it just seems like they do. They're still patching stuff quickly that takes the fun out of the game. If you find something in the game you're benefiting, maybe a little better than it was intended to be, Bungie shuts it down quick. But if there's something that breaks the game, if there's some kind of Marion Barry error or something, you'll have to wait till after Christmas break to get that fixed.
Yeah.
And
then they label it as wasn't working as intended.
Yeah. Right.
No, you just didn't think we were going to pair it up with as it was intended.
But Bungie has always been worried about the farmers, the players that like to farm stuff. They're so worried about us having too many of any item, because you remember in the olden days when they had the different seasons, we kept building up those legendary shards. Remember, people would have thousands of them, which was the main currency you needed to really upgrade anything. So what did they do? They said, no, we're not going to use legendary shards anymore. Here, you can turn them into glimmer, which we always have plenty of. Yeah, so I don't understand. When I play Elden Ring, for instance, I went and those little red flowers, I used to go around and collect a ton of those because I knew I needed them to make craft certain stuff in the game. And I'd find out what all the different raw materials were that I needed to make stuff. And when I was going around, not fighting bosses and just exploring, I would just start collecting stuff. And it didn't seem like there was much of a limit on it. It's like, hey, you want to spend 2 hours collecting these little poppy flowers? Then go for it, man. And I'm sure there was eventually a limit, maybe 9,999 or whatever, but they didn't cap it at 25. Like right now, they move strange coins from 99 to 199. Well, guess what? They're giving strange coins out like candy right now, which I'm not complaining because we can go to Zur and use them. But they cap it at 199, which means everybody gets 199 if you're playing any active amount. You're getting 199 strange coins before Zur can even come back. So you're playing and it doesn't go to your postmaster, so you're just losing them. They just sit on the floor on your solo ops runs. Anyway, but it's such a dichotomy when we talk about how this Arc Raiders is just about having fun. They want people to have fun. Now, here's my question. I've been waiting for them to come out with a PvE only mode because I think it would be really nice to be able to just fight the Arc robots and try to stay alive like a survival game. Mm-hmm. And just give you a chance to go around, to get used to the map because the map's enormous. All the areas and nooks and crannies everywhere. There's so many little buildings and stuff to get into. It would be nice if we could go in and play, and maybe even if they gave us limited rewards versus going into PvP part of it. But the problem with that is they don't have that. And I keep thinking they're going to add it, but it doesn't seem like anybody wants that now. Because apparently people are friendly. They're not being a dick. They're allowing you to come into the extraction points with. Is that still the case? Because you got how many hours now in this game?
I got just over 50.
Sorry, have you seen the attitude change now that the game's not new anymore?
No.
Really?
There has been some streamer-related issues where, let's say, the big 3 streamers of the game, they all kind of made their independent factions, if you will. So they're like, hey, if you're part of our faction, put on this cosmetic and we'll recognize you. So, like, it's not game built, but it's cool because it was community built.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you want to follow this guy, wear our outfit. And then there's territorial wars going on. We're like,
that
if you're
is
wearing
awesome.
this out, like, so it's bad but good because people that were enjoying the game, if they happen to have on the wrong outfit, that outfit ended up being like a shoot on sight, ask questions later. So people had to be like, man, I got to wear something different, but it's whatever. Community built, I'm okay with that.
That's fun.
So
I didn't know about that. That's pretty cool.
There is a rumor going around with the game and how it puts you in a lobby. So you have singles, duos, and trios. Just whatever is in your lobby when you hit go.
Okay.
For the most part, solos are the most friendly that I've encountered. There is a variable, though, that goes into effect. Duos is mediocre, and trios is like hardcore PvP.
Sweaty. Gotcha.
After every game, it'll usually ask you, how was your PvP experience? You can say there's 5 faces. You have a frowny on the left and then smiley on the right.
Wait a minute now. After the game ends, the match ends, they're asking you this?
It says feedback. How was your PvP experience in the last game? And you can say good or bad. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So that survey is a checkbox. Mm-hmm. Another thing they do, again, this is all rumor. So as you play the game, when you loot a crate, top left of your screen, it says 50 XP for looting. When you destroy a robot, it'll say 200 XP for destroying the robot. When you down another player, gives you XP for that. So I believe it tracks that as well. I've tested this out myself. There was a day where I just played solo and I didn't bother anybody. My entire gaming session was completely friendly. I would go over near people and they would go on proximity chat that the game has and they'd be like, hey, friendly, friendly, friendly. And I'm like, hey man, I'm just doing my thing,
Okay.
The next day I went in and I was like, on purpose, I'm like, I'm going to shoot on sight.
Okay.
So I did that for like 2 matches. After that, every lobby I went into was constant, like, I was getting shot at within 5 minutes.
Really?
Like, I was like, okay,
No
so
shit.
they're taking the surveys. If you say
Oh my God.
so in my eyes, if you say all the time, I love PvP, and then the game sees that you have a lot of XP for killing players, they say, hey, I'm going to put you in a lobby with
That is
everybody that has the same checkbox.
That is so smart. No,
And
jeez Louise, man.
everybody is like, this is awesome. And
this is, of course, rumor. It's not confirmed.
Right, but it's across the board. Everybody is agreeing with this.
Really?
The developers haven't come out and said anything.
Wow.
To confirm it. But if you want to grind materials to your heart's content, preferably you just run solo, because there's a lot of crafting and upgrades you got to do in this game.
Okay.
And in those solos, I'll be like, hey, I'll come up on some people and I'll be like, yo, friendly. I'm trying to hunt this big robot. You want to help me kill it? And, we split the loot. Like, yeah, no biggie. And then we go hunting. The lobbies can be huge, and you can have 20 people, all solos, but all fighting like the big boss in the map.
That's
and it's
awesome.
Is a thrill to be like, is this person friendly or is this person foe? It's a nice little like thing to it.
Can't ever turn your back, I'm afraid. I'd be too paranoid. No. You got to keep everybody in front of you.
I had a cool moment where I was running singles, and inside of one of the buildings, there was a lot of robots that spawned in. So I just had my weapon at the ready. Another person came by and they saw me. I had a weapon out, so then they drew their weapon. And I went on proximity and said, oh, this? I was like, this is for the robots. And after I said that, a robot came behind him and I one-shot blew it up. And the dude was like, oh. And he's like, are you looking for anything specific? I was like, yeah, I'm looking for this kind of material. And he just dropped 3 of it as a thanks. I was like,
wow.
That's cool. Thank you.
So the community is actually shaping the game live.
And
dude.
The developers are running with it. They're not changing stuff.
Wow.
They were like, hey, like I said, they gave us $10 in currency because of how well the game is doing. And the community is not really saying anything negative.
Wow. I'm
like,
gonna
you
have to
that
jump in.
faction war, but it was like, hey, so I chose a cosmetic skin that didn't involve any of those. I had no issues. Even when I came across those players that were like shoot on sight, if I didn't have on any of the cosmetics that deemed me an enemy, they just were like, hey, what's going on, man? I'm like, not much, just pass it on through. And like, all right, have a good raid. And
wow.
That was it.
That is crazy, man. I see, my son's been trying to get me to jump in. He wants to play. And I can't wait. I'd love to sit down and play. The thing about games, Jellis, is I have to be comfortable playing it, especially when it comes to PvP. I have to get some practice in. I got to get my reps in, man. I need to get my reps in. I need to get comfortable with the controls because I'm not used to third-person shooters. I played first-person shooters for a long time now with Call of Duty. So is that aspect affected you at all as far as your accuracy and stuff, or was it a hard transition?
It was not a hard transition because it uses the basics. There's additional controls that I love. So you have third person, right?
Yeah.
There's a button now that you can toggle that shoulder swaps.
Okay. Left and
so
right.
when you're behind cover, depending on the angle you want, you can swap to be over the left shoulder, and your guy will swap hand positions on his weapon as well.
I like that.
So then, let's say you're peeking to your right. Okay, that's fine. But if the gun's in your left hand, you got to come way out around the corner. So you just swap over.
That's awesome, man.
I have so much fun. You remember the movie War of the Worlds?
Yeah. Yep.
There's robots in the game that kind of mimic that intensity. Mm-hmm. So there's this robot called a leaper. It's like a giant spider.
I've seen it.
Yeah. You shoot it across the map, it will jump all the way over to you,
That's
all the way
crazy.
up on the roof, and you're like, oh, I just messed up. So my cousin and I will brief each other. The other guy's just not paying attention. I'll just shoot that, and all of a sudden the robot's in her face. I'm like, hey, look what walked in. He's like, really? I watched you shoot it. Why did you do this to us? I'm like, because I'm having fun.
GG's, like, I'm out.
or I'm like, we'll be just doing our thing. And I'm like, hey, it's a little quiet. Too quiet. And I throw out a lure grenade that just makes all this noise to check the robots. Man. He's like, why do you do this to me? And I'm like, because I'm bored.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. It gets me excited to want to play it. I just have those reservations because I have a feeling as soon as I play, people see that I'm green and not really understanding the controls. But I did want to talk about this while we're on the extraction shooter genre here. Marathon just put a new Vidoc out. Well, it's been out a couple weeks now as we record this. But I'm curious, have you had any opinions of Marathon versus the Arc Raiders that you're playing right now? Do you have any, are you excited to try it or play it, or what's your feeling on it?
I will definitely give it a try.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be $40. $40.
I won't shy away from it. I'm one that I need to experience something myself before I can give an opinion on it. That's how I treat it fairly.
Okay.
If they take lead off of Arc Raiders and see the way they're doing things and incorporate it, and I'm talking like background, not copy paste the game, but how it's managing it. There's AI on the robots, and I'm not gonna lie, man. It was a struggle at first. So I was shooting at a robot, and I took cover. I went to pop out the other side. The robot rotated over there and said, "Nah, nah, nah. I know you're over here now." And I'm like, "Oh, the robots actually think now." I'm like, "This is another challenge, another level of the game. The robots try to outsmart you."
Yep.
So if they can incorporate that on the PvE aspect, that'll be a lot of fun, because if you, like, you know it in Destiny, they have the same patterns, you know what they're going to do, you get into a groove, and then you become complacent.
Yeah.
You can't get complacent in Arc Raiders, because every time you log in, it's a cinematic experience. You don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
If they can take lead on stuff like that, that'll be okay in my book, and I'll play it, you know.
Yeah.
I like the aspect. Extraction shooters are now becoming one of my favorite genres, because I like the ability of, you go in, you loot stuff, and you come out with it, and you can start the game with that stuff. And I like that ability.
Yeah, but what if you put all your best gear on and you just have a bad match and you lose it all? Doesn't that bother you?
So here's the term that we say on Arc Raiders now. Yeah, you can bank all your loot that you want, and so what if you lose it? It was just your turn to use it.
Ah, I see.
You know, like, let's say you had an awesome gun and I killed you, and now I pocketed it. All right, it's my turn now to use the gun. Like, that's the mentality you got to have with it.
Okay.
Don't get too attached.
Don't get into collections like Destiny's like the ultimate collection game, you know?
Yeah, you can always make another one. It'll take some time. Maybe you had like decked out attachments that were high rarity. Okay, it might take you time to find all those again and make the exact weapon, but you can always find the weapon again, and you will get to use it again. So don't hold on to it. Don't be a hoarder. It's just your time to use the loot and enjoy it while it lasts, because who knows? There was some days where I spawned in with a loadout, and I ran with that loadout for 2 hours without even dying. And then I finally died. I'm like, well, that was a fun 2 hours. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Other times I go in with that mentality, and then I die on the first game. I'm like, well, time to start again.
See, the one thing we did find out from the Vidoc, it wasn't mentioned directly or overtly, but it sounds like they're going to be doing season sweeps where they're doing season resets. What do you think about that? And how has the seasonal switch gone with Arc Raiders? Have they approached it in a different way, or?
So this is totally new concept. And this is for players like you and I that enjoy the repeatability. So they have something now called an expedition. It happens every few months. You have to gather materials, and you build this, it's called like spaceship. And once you fully build a spaceship and they bring back the expedition time window, you have a couple days to do it. You got to build up some credits, blah, blah, blah. When you send off on the expedition, your character gets a full reset. Your entire skill tree gets reset. You lose all your loot, all your inventory, everything you've collected. You do get bonus perks of like cosmetics, or some upgrades now act a little differently for you. Maybe it's like an extra percentage or two on like health recovery. You know, it depends on how many times you've done it. But when you lose everything, now you just start fresh over again, and you grind all the way up if you're into that kind of repeatability. I think that's awesome, because you get to the game, let's say you're a streamer and you play it 8 hours a day, that's your job. all right, you maxed out everything. Now what do? Nothing. You're going to move on. Oh, but wait, you can fully reset your character now and you get perks for doing it. So now your cosmetics will show, hey, I've done it this many times, or this cosmetic means I'm on this time doing it. And it's a little trophy to say, yeah, I've played this game this long. This is the reward I get for it. And then they can restart again and you can keep making content out of it.
So what you're saying is they have like a prestige system.
Yes, it's a prestige system.
Because I know when you prestiged in Call of Duty, would you get an avatar emblem and you got a new banner that you could show to every, it's like a status, kind of a status symbol that you could show other players. Like, oh man, where did you get that emblem? Oh, yes, this is Prestige 10. Yeah.
And it's not just level up though. You got to collect materials and turn them in. So
to reset. Wow.
Yeah, it's not just, oh, I hit max level, reset. Nope, you got to find materials, turn them in.
That's pretty cool.
Collect the money. It's a whole process.
See,
and I'm like, this is another depth.
That's the one thing I'm going to get hung up on is because I like to collect guns. I like to collect armor. That's the one thing I love about Destiny right now is now that they have the set bonuses with each set of armor, it's like you had to be there moment. There's a little bit of FOMO because there's some armor that you can't get anymore that has some really good set bonuses. The disaster set, for example, you can't get that anymore, I don't believe. You could last season, but this season it's not available. And I don't know if there's any way you can pick up that armor anymore. It's all going forward now where you're getting the new armor. And I think that's where Bungie has excelled. The armor systems, the way that we go about build crafting into our games, it just, they have so many things that they're doing right to keep us engaged and to keep it repetitive, keep repeating playing, bringing us back. But then there's always those two steps back where the activity is not, you have to go to matchmaking or you have to line up a night where you have two other people that can run with you in these lawless frontiers and then hope that they're looking for the same things you're looking for. It's just demotivated me. I have not had any interest to play Lawless Frontier just because of that fact. Now I've been playing the Dawning like crazy. I've been getting Bright Dust farming. The new Dawning armor, don't miss out, Jellis. Especially if you play Titan, right?
No.
You play Warlock?
We Warlock.
Yeah. Dude, the Warlock armor for the Dawning, you're literally a wolf. You have claws. I got it all, man. And I got the super black shader on. My eyes are glowing. Dude, you got to get it. You can either spend 6,000 Bright Dust for the set, or you can spend 1,500 Glimmer or silver to like $15 to buy the set.
I haven't a ton in a Bright Dust. I got like over 80,000.
And another thing too is, so you get all three sets. Another thing too is they have this new Vanguard orders where you have basically perpetual bounties. And the more you do, the better chance you get to get legendary ones, which drop even better loot. And then you even have a chance after that to get exotic stuff. Like I just got the yellow crystal for my Praxic Blade, but I have to finish some of the campaign or the Praxic Blade quest to unlock it, but I know I have it now. And each of those crystals, I think, gives benefits to your, and also there's different perks you can unlock on your Praxic Blade. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that this season. Oh, yeah. But the problem is with me is I'm a one game guy. I tend to run one game, and that just becomes my hobby. When I'm home from work, I have a couple hours a night to play before I go to bed. Do I watch some TV shows or do I play some Destiny? And it rotates. Some nights I'm like, no, I don't feel like doing Destiny tonight. I'm going to go watch some shows instead. So speaking of which, I do, since we're on our catch-up segment here, I do have a movie review I want to mention this week. I saw the movie The Housemaid. It was at the theater this past week. It stars Sydney Sweeney as a homeless 20-something looking for a job after a rough start in her adult life where she's on probation, and finds this housemaid position in an upscale New York suburb. Amanda Seyfried plays a deranged wife who's a wife of a prominent entrepreneur played by Brandon Sklenar. If you remember in 1814, I think he plays the son, one of their sons. I think it was 1912, maybe. Anyway, he's been becoming very popular now in a lot of movies. And what happens is I don't want to tell you what happens, but I don't want to tell you what happens. I don't want to spoil it. But what happens is there's a really, you think, I've seen a lot of suspense horror movies over my lifetime, and you kind of understand how most of them end. Kind of like a happy ending, you know how exactly how everything ends. And they walk away from the house like, whew, glad that's over with kind of deal, But this movie went a different tact. And I was really impressed by the tact they went on this. And I don't want to spoil the ending, but I thought it was really good. 81% Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb has it at 6.8 out of 10, which is not bad. I was entertained. Definitely worth a watch, especially if you enjoy like suspense type movies. I give this one 3.5 stars. Solid, good movie. And since we are talking over the holidays, there's some other shows that are on streaming that I've been watching. Landman on Paramount Plus, Pluribus on Apple TV. Got to see that. Jellis. Stranger Things on Netflix. I'm watching it up with everybody else in the world right now. Fallout Season 2 on Prime Video. Slow Horses, the newest season's out on Apple TV. Morning Show on Apple TV, the newest season's out. And there's My Next Guest, which is the old Tonight Show host. I can't believe I can't think of his name right now, but he interviews very, very popular people, and he goes really in depth. He was a late night host that in the old days of the Tonight Show. Not Tonight Show, the late night. David Letterman. If you have some holiday time, this season, there's some shows you might want to try out. Apple TV right now is offering 1 month free, which they never do. And F1 just became available with Brad Pitt. That was the newest movie out by Apple. Just became available on streaming. You don't have to buy it. Gaming wise, like I said, I've been doing the Vanguard orders combined with the Dawning and all that good stuff. But I wanted to keep moving on here, Jellis. I have a topic I want to talk to you about, but first, it's the speed run. We'll do that when we return.
Call the Praxic Order, call the Thanatonauts, the Ginseng Scribes, call everyone so they can witness you.
All right, it is that time. This segment is called the speed run. I've handpicked 25 questions from a pool of over 1,000 that have been submitted by our gracious community over all these years. These are quick, simple questions to get to know our guests at an even deeper level. No time limits, no contests, just quick questions and answers. I did ask these same questions to Warcry, so if you listen to last week's episode, you'll get to see the difference between Warcry's answers and Mr. Jellis's answers here. So, Jellis, you ready to do this? All right, here we go. Number 1, morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Controller or mouse and keyboard?
Mouse and keyboard.
What is your favorite Destiny exotic? It can be from either Destiny game.
It's going to be the Outbreak Perfected.
Oh, man, that is a good pulse rifle. If you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
Ooh, Ryan Reynolds.
Good. Void, Solar, Arc, Stasis, or Strand?
Strand.
Okay. Pulse, hand cannon, scout, or auto rifle?
Pulse.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Japan.
Nice. What one interesting thing would we find in your gaming space? And you got a lot of stuff in that room. What's an interesting thing we wouldn't think about that is in your...
So it's a memory piece for me. So best friend growing up, he got me a Christmas gift last year, and it's a little phone stand. It's in the shape of a Call of Duty figurine, but it hold my phone or prop my phone up for me. So it's just a nice little room piece that reminds me of a friendship that I have.
Pretty cool, man. Nice. I'm glad I asked that question now. Okay, what's the worst job you've ever had?
Worst job was actually going to be a technician.
Really? Okay. You know where? Where were you a tech?
It was a mom and pop shop.
Oh.
The owner was not a very good person with taking out orders and giving out instructions, so I would show up to the job and he would be like, hey, you're gonna have to figure this out, and I'd have to call a bunch of different people to set stuff up, and I'm like, this is what you're supposed to do.
That's your job, buddy. Yeah. I'm the muscle. Come on, man. What was your first gaming system?
It was a combo. So I had a Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64.
Nice. Roller coaster or carousel? I think I know the answer to this one.
Coaster.
Sweet or salty, and what is your favorite snack based on that answer?
Going to go with sweet.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with, let's see here, dots.
Oh, yeah, they're good. I like dots. If you had more time, what would you do with it?
Spend time with the people that are close to me in life.
Very good. What is your favorite Destiny planet and why?
I loved Europa.
Okay.
I love how like it was wintry and
You like the ice planet Hoth.
Yeah, exactly. That was the first kind of hint. I was like, ooh, I'm like, this is like Hoth. And
I like
now
it.
it's out of control compared to back then, but
Sure.
I like the constant freeze going on.
That's cool. And the storms that roll in, that's pretty cool too.
The crunch of the snow under your boots.
Yep. Jellis, what's the best sandwich?
Maybe a pork rib sandwich.
Pork rib sandwich. I haven't heard that one yet. Okay. If you could take any one famous person to dinner, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Benjamin Franklin. I'd like to pick his brain.
Really? What is your favorite holiday?
Probably Christmas time for me.
Yeah. Have you ever, let me speak that again. Have you ever had a nickname?
Yes, I have.
What was that nickname?
Short round.
And what's the origin of it?
Just the way I was acting in the moment was like short round.
Like
from
short
Indiana
round.
Jones.
Indiana Jones. Nice. Can you drive a stick shift? I think that's a dumb question.
Yes.
Who is your favorite Destiny NPC?
Okay, so originally it was Cade. Cade's gone. Honestly, I do like man, that's a tough one. Hold on, there's a couple new people that I do like.
Mm-hmm.
With the latest release, I actually did like the Drifter's Ghost. The initial dialogue when we got to hear him talk.
Green.
Oh my gosh, just the potty mouth off the rip. I'm like, I'm gonna like you so much.
That's awesome.
Say Green.
Okay, good. Do you dip your toast in oatmeal or grits?
If it's available, yes. But
Really?
if it's not, then I'm not going after it.
I love it. Person after my own heart. Most people cringe when I say that question. What weapon slot do you use the most for an exotic weapon slot?
It's gonna be primary all day.
Gotcha. C-3PO or R2-D2?
R2-D2, he has got the jokes.
Gotcha. What would you consider your spirit animal?
A wolf.
Okay. Name one thing that you would change about yourself.
I mean, I wouldn't change anything that I got going on right now. But if I had to choose, probably being less extroverted.
Okay. Chilling
Being
out.
a little less, be a little more relaxed.
Be like me, a little more recharge. Got to sit down and recharge a little bit. I'm an
I get ahead of
introvert.
myself a lot, but that's just how my brain works. You know, I'm
good,
thinking
man.
3 steps ahead, and
It's
sometimes
good.
it's like, hey,
Hey, you
slow
got the
down.
energy. You got the energy right now. Use it, man. Definitely. Well, Jellis, now you are even more known. Thank you for playing along on the speed run. Thank you, sir. I got a question out there for our listeners. Is there a speed run question that you think we should ask our feature guest? If so, let's hear it. Go to our 2027 speed run channel and submit your question. At the beginning of 2027, we'll have 2 drawings for a $25 Amazon gift card. I mean, what do you have to lose? Let's hear it. 1 entry per member will go into the drawing, but you can submit as many as you like. Thanks and good luck. All right, we have our topic of the week coming up next.
Hey, Elmer Fudd Games here, and you're listening to Guardian Downcast. If you're listening to any other show right now, I will break into your house and destroy your kneecaps. I will twist off the headboard of your bed so when you go to stretch in the morning, you fall between the crevice. Guess what? Dog hair and old socks. Disgusting. No one wants that, but we want you to listen to this podcast. How's that? Was that good?
I like it. All right, Jellis. I had this actual same topic of the week for my buddy Warcry, and he is a man of few words. Let me say that. But I'm curious what your take is on this because I think it's an important topic. I mean, as I mentioned last week, Bungie has had a rough couple of years. I mean, they finished their big expansion, Final Shape, which, as I said last episode, I don't think Jeff has completed yet. and I didn't get argument from him, so I figured that was probably a true statement. They ended the Light and Dark saga, then hoping to carry the interest of the game to the major expansion. They came out with these episodes, right? And they kind of slowly eroded the player base. It wasn't what people were looking for, even though, they were trying to carry the interest onto the new, Edge of Fate in the summer of 2025. They lost a lot of players. A lot of players fell out, just figured that was it, end of the, final shape means final, means it. The game's over, right? They released Edge of Fate, which I thought the campaign was very good. I think the Prophecy Saga is very exciting. I like to see where they're going with this new storyline, only for it to see continuing lower numbers in players. The major update, Ash and Iron, was a real big blunder because there really wasn't much they changed other than the reward track and a few small items, but there was really no extra story or nothing. It was just like a nothing burger, in my opinion. But, they had the portal system, which I don't know how much success you've had with the portal system, but it has not been widely loved by our community. But, Bungie had already committed to that system, and it's kind of hard to turn the boat around, when you've already based your gameplay on a certain type of system. And then we got Renegades, which you guys just finished up. They incorporated the Star Wars franchise into a pretty nice Destiny story here. But the player numbers still weren't there. There was only a slight bump in player numbers. I think we didn't even hit 100,000 on the Steam charts. So with all of this that I just mentioned, having a hard time keeping players engaged with the game, what do you expect to see in 2026 with the Destiny 2 game? Let me start there. What do you think will be rolling around the corner with Destiny 2 for 2026? We know Shadow and Order is coming. It's the major update for Renegades. And then I think it's the Alchemist in the summer. Where do you think they're going to go with all this, Jellis? I mean, is it going to be a lot of the same? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm just curious, what do you foresee Bungie doing with Destiny 2 into the next year?
I foresee it staying the same as it's been for the last, 8 years this game's been out?
Destiny 2, 2017.
Yeah, Destiny 2's been out for 8 years now, so I think they're just going to keep with it. They should have went a different path right after Final Shape. You guys have kind of had a consensus over the last month straight of listening to you guys. After Final Shape, 100%, they should have just made Destiny 3 to launch the new saga. That would have been the best marketing, in my opinion, because what happened after Destiny? They made a whole new storyline and said Destiny 2. So they could have gotten away with a new storyline, new saga, and labeling it Destiny 3. Nobody would have been like, oh, this is just a continuation. Well, of course it's a continuation because we're in a franchise here. You have Call of Duty, you have Halo. They made a new game with a new campaign every year. So I don't know why they didn't just do that. But that's been their bread and butter of slowly releasing major updates to the game, slowly releasing DLCs, doing their hotfixes. That has been their road path forever. They're not going to change it. They are in so much deep water right now. They're not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. They're going to be like, yeah, if we do that, we're going to lose everybody. And they might, or they might get new people. We don't know that unless that trigger's pulled. They're going to continue on this path, slowly releasing stuff, changing things, and they're going to keep running that dead horse until they have no more income coming back. Once they start seeing that decline, they're going to jump ship, and they might, here's a theory, when Alchemist comes out, they might just be done right there. They might just do a quick half-ass wrap-up, excuse my language. They might just wrap it up right there because they're like, hey, this is already done. This ship is sunk. They might just wrap shit up and done.
I wouldn't put them past it that they just pull the plug, boom, and we're left in wondering what's going on, because that was Destiny 1, basically. The stranger walks away from the tower and we're like,
oh yeah, at the beginning of the very first campaign.
So what happens now?
See you around.
We'll see you in the world? What's that mean? What do I do next? It was kind of just left you out there to dry, and I would not put it past Bungie if they did that again. But here's another question I have. Marathon, if it is successful, for some reason, people love this game and it really catches fire and it becomes a real competitor to Arc Raiders. Do you think that will hurt Destiny 2, or do you think Bungie will double back and rebuild this franchise for the future? Win or lose with Marathon. I mean, if Marathon fails, they're Sony's going to have to take a really hard look at the Bungie franchise and see what's going to be, available, or what direction they want to go here. I mean, you think there'll be layoffs, or do you think they'll build back up? Just curious what your take would be here on Marathon being introduced and whether it fails or whether it is successful, what that would mean for the Destiny game.
So going down the path of Marathon being successful,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's going to be your different groups of players. You have players that like the extraction looter style, and then the Destiny, like these are all people that are coming from Destiny to go play Marathon. This is where I'm striving from. So you'll have the ones that like the extraction shooter. Then you have the other ones that are going to like the storyline stuff. So they would backtrack and stay in their Destiny shell, which is fine. If Marathon does so well, they're going to notice that there's a little bit of people that aren't playing, and they'll maybe realize, hey, these are the people that are the diehard Destiny. Maybe we can use our income to relaunch Destiny to get them playing our games again.
Yeah.
And then you'll have two battlefronts of, we got two games that are going good, but they got to recognize their audience. They have to recognize that. You can't please everybody. You got to look at who's playing your game, what do they like about the game, and go in that direction. They're getting too far into, what does the stockholder want? No. Like, you gotta, we are your main consumer. We're the ones putting money in the stockholders' pockets. So if we're not playing the games, we're not buying the games, those stockholders aren't getting any revenue. They gotta recognize that you gotta make games that people wanna play. Take one on the chin, and maybe you gotta scrap something and keep in the direction you're going because of how well it's going.
Yeah.
Do a little test update. Hey, for 2 weeks, we're going to do this little thing here, and use that as like a main beta. They don't even got to announce that it's a beta. Like, let's say there's a game mode, but that game mode is for something that's for next 6 months down the line. But if it flops, they should recognize, hey, this game mode flops. We got to go in a different direction. If Marathon fails, they're going to have to do their cuts and say, hey, we got to figure out how to get people playing our games again. And hopefully they go back in time and looked at what did well. Like when Witch Queen came out, that was the biggest spike I think we had in a long time since Forsaken, I think.
Right.
We're talking long ago because we've been playing for a long time on this game.
Yeah.
They got to start looking back. What brought people in? Was it the cinematics we were doing? Was it the gameplays? Was it the bonds that we were making with new characters, the storytelling, all of that? What was getting people to tune in every day, play the game? What was getting people to pre-order all this stuff? Because sometimes they put the effort into a game based on the pre-orders. And I think that's wrong. You need to stick with your guns and make a game that you're proud to play yourself. If you go based off of pre-orders, you're going to be like, well, if I didn't get this many people pre-ordering the game, they're not going to put effort in. And that's not right. You need to put yourself fully out there. Give it your all. Don't give in half effort, because then that half effort will show and people are going to not buy the game.
I think, just my 2 cents here, I don't think Marathon's going to make it. I think they've already invested the money. Sony's going to push it out. And I have to admit, when I did see the Vidoc about the new Marathon coming out, the game looked very Destiny-like. They had really cleaned up a lot of the visuals. I remember watching the people playing it initially, and the maps looked very dreary and very like cloudy and not very detailed. And then the art style, I'm not a fan of the art style, and I don't think a lot of people are. But I noticed when I was watching people play Arc Raiders, you could easily determine what's in your backpack because the items were very detailed. There's been
Yes.
some artwork done there. The artwork style in Marathon, when you pick up these items, you can't even tell what you're looking at.
It looks smudged.
Well, it's the art style. It's the colorful, like 80s art style. It's very, very bright colors and very gaudy materials and stuff. But they were in the Vidoc, they were trying to explain, the gold items and stuff that you can get there was definitely some reward if you put time in the game, but I just can't get excited about it. And maybe it's the fact that I'm not an extraction shooter guy. You lose your shit. I don't like that. I want to be able to collect guns. But I have to admit, Jellis, my vault, now they can now hold 1,000 things. My vault's at about, I think I got it down to like 375, maybe 400 pieces in there now. I cannot tell you the last time I went through it and actually started looking for a gun that I want to use. I pretty much have my go-to weapons that I like to use, and a lot of them are the new blasters, which I'm really having fun with. I see Marathon lackluster. I can't see it doing well. I know they're pumping a lot of hype for this game. I really do hope it does well. Like I told Kingsley 2 weeks ago, I'll probably spend the $40 and support Bungie on it, and I'll probably try it out for a week or two. And I know there's some story elements that they're putting into the game as well. And it'll either catch fire with me or it won't. And like I said, the main thing is the thing about, I don't mind about PvP. I love about Crucible is you can take any gun that you've collected in PvE, and then you can bring it into the PvP arena. And if you die, guess what? You just start right back with it again. You respawn, you have everything back, you're good to go. In fact, if anything, your abilities might be a little higher now. You might have recharged some abilities, so now you can come back even stronger. But I just don't see getting booted to orbit with, maybe a few little trinkets of XP or something when you fail. I just can't get excited about that. I just can't. So I think what's going to happen is Sony's going to have to make a decision here. I think they're going to realize that the Destiny franchise was a very strong franchise and it had a very strong player base. And they're either going to have to go one of two roads. One, they're going to have to go the Fallout route. They're going to have some live action movies or streaming shows to get people excited about the Destiny story, the things that we already know that can be shown on the more mainstream to get more players to try this game. Or and then maybe, I think what they should do is I think they need to make a Destiny 3. I think a lot of streamers have expressed that already. But I don't think we want to use any of the existing characters or NPCs that we have now. Maybe bring one. Maybe one got wormholed into this new universe. But if the Destiny 3 comes out, which there again, it's going to be 5 or 6 years down the road. So what are we talking about? 2030, 2031? But by then, people will have worn off of Destiny and will be really excited because of all the good times they had in Destiny 2 and Destiny 1. They see a new Destiny 3 come out. That's, 5, 6 years down the road. They're going to get pumped about this because they're going to have high hopes for it. And so what I think Sony realizes with Bungie is this audience will never go away. A lot of people played this game in their childhood. It's like if they're coming out with a new, I want to say Marathon, but nope. That game was very popular back in the day, but I don't think it's going to hit as well this time. I think, okay, what's Bungie known for, right?
Halo.
It's made for Halo. So they had Halo shows come out, which I'll admit didn't turn out the greatest. I think they have to pick people that are really going to make a good storyline and have good effects, and they're going to have to spend money on that stuff. But look how successful Fallout's been. That's like the hottest show on Prime Video. It could really ignite this franchise. But Sony's going to have to decide, are we going to go down that road and double back and double down on the Destiny franchise? Or will they just boot everything off to the mothballs and just start fresh with this Bungie studio into something brand new? I don't know. They're going to have to decide, make a decision. I think that decision is going to come in the summer, 2026 in the summer. I think they're going to have to either, they're going to have to either cut bait or stick in there and drill down and maybe even put a teaser out of about a Destiny 3 game or something coming. There's been rumors that they're already whiteboarding it. There's been rumors, but they're not confirmed by Bungie. So that's, either way, I see very dark clouds in 2026 for Bungie. I do. Unless there's something that I totally don't know about that's just going to blow things open. I don't know. I just don't, I've been very, you know me, Jellis. I've always been very, very pro Bungie. I've always been part of the hype machine. I've put the caps, I put the full tenfold caps on. I've had these grand illusions of what Destiny could be, and it always seemed to fall short of what I thought would happen. And as Hazel would say, it's not going to happen, man. Remember those days? So, maybe I'm starting to come to grips that of all the things I think Bungie could be down the road, maybe it's just not meant to be. I hate to be on such a downer here, but I'm just coming to grips. This game has lasted 11 years plus, probably 12 years. But I'll have my ears perked up, and so be it if Destiny goes away and we can't podcast about Destiny anymore. I may continue podcasting about something else. Something else might get my itch, but either way, it's going to be a big transition if Sony decides to turn its back on the game. And I'll be honest, I'm really worried because I don't think Marathon's going to be the savior. So anything to add to that, or?
No, I do agree. It's going to take a certain type of player to enjoy that extraction looter style.
Right.
I like it, but there's other people that enjoy the replayability with the weapons they find, the grinding they do. They want to use the metal they've earned.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. So you're definitely going to have different types of players enjoying the games.
Yeah.
And not everybody's the same. Some people play games in different ways themselves. Like you got people that ability build in Destiny, or you got people that focus on the weapon builds.
Right.
There's different play styles in every game. And that's what's nice about just video games in general. Everybody can enjoy the game in their own way.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're the one playing it. So as long as you're getting the most out of it, that's all that matters.
I think Bungie lost their way a long time ago. I think they lost track of what made the game so exciting. And I think they tried to systemize and replicate it instead of try to innovate, like you're talking about what Arc Raiders is doing. This reminds me of early days of Destiny, man. This is the kind of stuff that Destiny would do. Destiny would have their own community things going on all the time as well, whether it was sponsored by Bungie or whether it was something, even just the Trials of Osiris weekends where so many people would tune into Twitch to watch their favorite streamer and see how they did over the weekend playing Trials. That was such an event for Destiny. Honestly, I think it saved Destiny 1, to be honest. But I think, one, Bungie has so many different kinds of players now. I'm just one type of player that loves this game, and I've got, probably 10,000 hours in this game now if you add up all my characters and stuff I played in it. And I'm one kind of player, as Kingsley likes to remind me. And then Kingsley's another type of player. He likes to raid. He doesn't really care about power levels. He even moderately cares about weapons and builds and stuff. He's more about the activities, the raids. What kind of player would you be? What kind of player are you in Destiny?
So I am more of a build type. I like being able to link certain things together, whether it's a piece of armor with a piece of weapon.
Nice.
Or trying to maybe create a certain type of character off of something I saw on TV.
That's
when
cool.
I was building my stasis build, I was like, all right, I want to try and be Jack Frost.
Yep.
So I focused about how many times can I throw out a melee?
Right.
That's me throwing snowballs all the time. Or with Strand, I like seeing everybody suspended because I was like, hey, I want to walk down the middle of the road and have everybody just hanging in the air and be like, yep.
Yep.
I'm this bad bad person right now. So
Yeah, there's a major drip part of this game too. There's a lot of cosmetic stuff you can use too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me go back a little bit when we were talking about community stuff. I can't remember the last time there was a community event. The last one that I remember, and it was with you, was when the Traveler cracked its shell. When was the last time we had an event like that? They used to happen, I think, like once a year, where they'd be like, hey, everybody tune in at this time. We're going to do something fun. You remember those days?
Yeah, I remember that day, Jellis.
Well, I'm not going down that path. That's a separate story, but just
what is it? The F1 alt control?
Alt F4.
Alt F4?
Control, yeah.
I can't believe I did that. I think I did that live too. I think I was streaming it when it happened. I don't know. It's probably deep. It's probably deep in the archives of my YouTube channel, but I cannot believe I fell for that. It was my early days of PC gaming. I've been a control guy. I've been a console guy forever, and I was very new to the PC gaming. I didn't know a lot of those commands, but now I do. But yeah, you're right, man. I can't remember a last time there was a live event or some kind of community. I mean, I think the streamers tried to put one together here just these last couple of weeks. You would support a streamer that supported a certain of one of the syndicates, and they were trying to, it was kind of a turf war type of game. Yeah. You were building up, but it wasn't anything sponsored by Bungie. It was something that was done outside of Bungie. I mean, I applaud them for trying to do something like that, but I think a lot of the talent that made the original Destiny game, they're gone. I think they do have some people that are still around, but the bulk of the people who made the Destiny game and had those dreams of making this very different game back in 2014, I think most of them have been either shuffled to the Marathon project or have moved on to other studios and other projects. And I know so many people that have left Bungie and gone on to other things, moved on in their careers to other things. A lot of senior staff, of course. I don't know where what was it? There were a couple of execs that were going to make, that were Noseworthy and Smith, that were going to make a different kind of Bungie game, but that got trashed when Sony took over. So I don't know. I don't know who is still around that has a creative vision for the future of the game. I know there's some people in the story, and the raid teams are killing it right now. The raid and dungeon teams are doing such a great job, and the campaigns to me are as good as ever. But Bungie has had a hard time figuring out how to have that FOMO back, how to keep us engaged every day, because there was that certain FOMO thing that was always in my head that I need to log in today because I need to keep up with this or this or this. But something has changed where that FOMO is just not around anymore for me. And I just jump on to kind of whittle away at something I'm trying to work on in the game, pertinent to something I want to do, not really anything, to show off or anything. But like I said, we meet up every Saturdays to do our raids or a dungeon or whatever we decide to do. And I look forward to that. It's an activity. I'm catching up and bullshitting with friends, and it's a good time. But
yeah,
outside of that, Jellis, I can't get excited to do these things, these repetitive activities. They have yet to come up with an activity, something on the size of a Trials of Osiris that has the community tune in every day, every week. I just don't see it.
Building off the FOMO, the difference that I have from back then was the weekly reset. To me now,
yes,
the weekly reset doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But back then, 2 years ago, it was, you have 3 strikes to do, 3 gambits, 3 crucibles, get powerful gear. Then you had the weekly raid rotation where You would log in to play the raid within the week. What was the hot raid? Okay, this one's going to give me that powerful gear.
Right.
That's what the weekly reset to me needs to still be. There's like the power grind. I don't want to really go into that because that's a new thing now, but that was what brought me in, was like, hey, I'm going to miss out on getting this raid done this week if I don't log in.
Yeah.
Like that's what brought me back. That was my version of FOMO, was the actual reset did something. It moved on.
Right.
So like, oh man, Wrath of the Machine, that's the raid this week. Let's get it,
Yeah. And
now it's whatever.
Admittedly, the content has not been as numerous as it has been in the past. And Kingsley always likes to remind me that they told us the content was not going to be as big as Final Shape. It wasn't going to be that big anymore. There was going to be these updates, these not major expansions anymore. It's just going to be these updates now. And maybe, you put less content out there, you put less stuff to get and acquire in the game. It's going to be tough for people to stay engaged and stay excited about getting this stuff. But what they need to remember, if there's a single premise about Destiny that still hooks me to this day, is being able to get anything in this game and jump into a Crucible match and see how it works against other Guardians. That's a repeatable thing that you can do, and no game is the same. Every game, and maybe that's why Arc Raiders has such a great following, because they decided to focus on the PvP element and not the PvE only element, that every game is different. It's exciting. Every time you jump in, you don't know what's going to happen. But if you jump into a Lawless Frontier, assuming you're going to get two other players that know what the hell they're doing, you pretty much know how it's going to end. You know how many bosses are going to come out. You know where the numbers are going to be. You know what you got to do because you've run it 10 times. There's no unpredictability about it. And me and Kingsley go back and forth on this a lot. I swear that Crucible is the ultimate end game, because when there was nothing left to play in Crucible, in Destiny, in the story or the PvE version, what did people do? They started playing Iron Banner, started playing Trials, because they wanted to get the loot and gear from that. Plus, especially if you're playing with a group of friends, you can have a really good time doing an Iron Banner night. I miss those nights. And what did Destiny do this last 6 months of Edge of Fate? They had 1 week of Iron Banner. Totally missed the boat. So they need to have that one thing that binds the community together. And I think they've lost that. And it's sad, but it's true. But anyway, I know we could kick this can down the road for quite a while, but I just appreciate your input. I really do. Moonshine Warcry had about, I think he gave me 2 sentences about this whole topic. And I was like, okay, he's a man of few words. I think that's going to be the title of his episode, The Man of Few Words, because I don't know if he was drinking too much that night or what, but he did not have much to say. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing all the talking here, bud. Anyway. All right. I have some questions I wanted to ask you before we go tonight, and we'll do that right after this.
Hey, McMaximo here, one of the other Todds. You're listening to the Guardian Downcast, home of the coolest Discord group on the frickin' planet. Word.
Well, Jellis, hey man, I appreciate you being on tonight. I know you're working 60-hour weeks, and you're getting ready to do the holidays and stuff with your family, and what little bit of time you have. How's your bowling going, by the way? Did you hear my last episode a couple episodes ago?
I did not.
I threw. Well, I'll flex a little bit here. I've been bowling terrible. I have a 195 average. Well, it's 198 now, but I had a 195 average, which is a drop 10. In other words, they won't drop my average more. No matter how bad I'm bowling, they will not go beyond 10 below your average because they're worried about people sandbagging, and I get that. I had a 205 average as of the end of last season. So 195, I've been there forever. I think I've been there for like 2 months now. just haven't been able to stick it, man. Just haven't been able to get into a groove. Well, one night I finally decided it's time to start bowling again. And I got locked in. You know that feeling. My first game was a 211, that's pretty much what I expect to throw every game. That's a little bit above my average, which is all you can ask for. The next game, I threw the first 8 in a row. I actually threw the first 10 in a row. And then I think I did a chop spare and ended up with a 268, which still respectable game, right? And I felt good. Well, the very next game, I threw 11 in a row. And I got on my very last 12th frame. And, you know, I have a younger, my buddy, a longtime friend of mine in real life, he bowls on my team as well. And his son bowls with us, and he's pretty good. He doesn't use a thumb. He throws tons of spin. And he's getting up there. He's really gotten good. In fact, he's probably my average or maybe even a little bit better than me now. He's kind of surpassed me. And we have $100 bet. The first one who gets an 800 series scratch, past the other person has to pay the other person $100. That's pretty rare to get. It's something I've yet to get on my bucket list is an 800 scratch. Have you ever had an 800 yet?
We'll keep talking with you, and then I'll get into my stuff.
I threw a 775 that night, 25 away from an 800 because of that first game. The 211 killed me there. Could throw this just for people who don't bowl. You have to bowl a 266 or higher across 3 games to get an 800 series. You have to be damn near perfect for the whole 3 games, the whole night. But that's the closest I've come this week. But last week I threw almost a 700. I was hoping to repeat what I did the week before, but I just ran out of gas, I think. And weird, the lanes aren't always the same every week to week, especially with the weather. Our weather gets cold, hot here, and the lanes definitely react to it. But how have you been doing? What's your past bowling been doing? Are you in a fall league right now?
Yeah, I bowl only once a week now.
Me too.
It's Friday nights, and it is on the probably toughest lanes around because they're still the old wood lanes. They're not synthetic.
Okay.
So you caught me at a good time.
Okay.
Last night, I got my 4th 300.
Nice. I've only got 2.
And I got my 2nd 800 series with an 818.
Wow. That is impressive, Jellis. And working 60 hours a week. And going to school. What can't this kid do? Super
I
jealous.
play darts too. I put some darts.
And you've won some tournaments. It's like he's like the Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy all over again. Man, almighty.
I had a lot of coworkers. They're like, oh, you do this? I was like, yeah, I also do this and this. And they're like, dude, what can't you do?
Exactly. It's good, man. It's good attitude. Well, if you think about it, darts is just inverted bowling. It's all about release.
Yep.
It's all about release. And I know when I'm bowling good, I know my release, my pregame shot, and everything has to be exactly the same for me. I have a very simple shot. I don't even use 2 arms. I use 1 arm. I drape it right down to my side, but I use this arm to push out to the side when I'm letting off, which balances me because I'm old and I need balance. If I don't push my arm out, I find that I get very inconsistent. What is your secret? Did you throw with thumb or do you throw without a thumb?
I do not have a thumb.
Okay. I know a lot of the young kids are doing that now.
Last night, I was doing it before it was cool. All right.
Okay.
Let me just start off there.
Okay.
But, so last night I was bowling my best friend, and him and I were both in the anchor position, the last person on the list.
By the way, not to interrupt, but is your league competitive? Is it head to head? Or is it just fun?
No, there's handicap. It's actually an old league still. I say old because it is a true mixed league. You got to have at least 1 male and 1 female on roster that night.
Cool.
To be eligible.
Okay.
So we get up in the 10th frame. We're both the anchors. We're both ready to throw. I go up. I throw the first ball. It's a strike. I turn around and he's still sitting in his chair. I looked at him. I pointed him and I said, get your butt off that chair and get your butt up here to bowl. So our group knows with each other, don't change the rhythm.
Right.
I don't care if you throw a split, whatever. I'm like, keep everything the same. We hate it when it gets quiet. We hate it when everyone stops what they're doing to watch us.
Right.
We know it's a 300 on the verge, but we don't need you to bring attention because then it brings us out of the mental state. Of course, I know I need to keep striking. That's obvious.
Right.
But when you bring attention, it puts more pressure.
Yeah.
So if everybody can just keep doing their thing. So like my captain told the lanes on our other side, they were like, hey, just because John's up there doing his thing, like you guys don't stop. Keep doing your thing.
That's what happened to me. I was on my 11th strike. I was on my 12th strike. All I had to do was throw a strike, 300 game. You know, everybody, the freaking lanes got quiet. I'm like, damn it, no. And
you could hear the rack setters.
And that's what I was trying to tell my buddy's son across from me, sits across from me. I said, listen, all you got to do is get your reps in. You notice I say that at the end of every podcast now, whether it's in life or in gaming, just get your reps in. It's all about getting your reps in. It's how many, let me ask you this. How many times were you in that position, Jellis, where you threw a 297 or a 298 or a 299?
So I have 0 on the 290s, but plenty 279s where it's like 8th frame, 9th frame, you get the 9 spare and you're like, dang it.
Yeah.
Then I throw the rest of the game in strikes. Maybe I even start the next 3 in the following game. And I'm like, I know I can do this.
Yeah.
The time I got my first ever 300, there was like 3 weeks leading up to it. I would throw the back 7 and front 8. So I threw 15 strikes in a row across 2 games.
Yep.
So it was just like, you just got to get them into one game, you know? So it's there. Just gotta do it.
There's this mindset that we have used up our strikes for the night. It's a mindset that some people have, this scarcity mindset. They're like, well, I've already thrown like 12 in a row between 2 games. I'm out of strikes now. No, it's not the way it is.
So I was pretty happy when you said the 195 because that is 100% respectable.
Yeah.
I took a funny approach because I only bowl once a week. I don't even practice.
I don't either. Once a week,
show up.
cold turkey. I get my 10 minutes of warm up in. That's it. You're ready to bowl.
I carry a 217 average.
That's very good. That's very respectable.
No, really. I get 3 pins a game handicap.
Well, our handicap's a little higher. Our handicap's a little bit higher because our highest average player has like a 240 average in our league. We got some PBA bowlers in our league. It's a head-to-head. It's mixed. We have female professional bowlers in our league. I know of 2 of them I'm thinking of right now. And I hope to God I'm not going to play that against them because they're really tough opponents, no matter how much handicap they give me. And I know her husband will shame me. She's giving you pins? I'm like, dude, she's semi-pro or she's pro. You know, she was in the Women's Professional Bowling Association last year. Give me a break, man. She bowls like 4 days a week. I'm bowling once a week, 3 games. That's it. So anyway, yeah, it's, I try to tell them, get your reps in, because if you do enough 290s or even 268s or 280 games, you're there that many times that eventually your body doesn't get nervous. And sure as shit, everybody got quiet on that 12th frame and my knees started getting weak. I'm like, no. See, I don't know why we're talking about bowling so much, but I know me and you are on the kind of the same level. And I don't have earbuds in. I know some people drown out the noise with earbuds. Some people, don't talk to anybody. I talk to my friends at the table, but I have this Medium app where I'll read blogs. It's like a blog post thing, and I'll read blogs about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it'll give me ideas for my 50 years experience podcast or even my roundtable episodes. And what I'll do is I'll focus on that. I'm still talking with my friends. I focus on that to keep my mind centered where I need to be and not distracted. And then I get up there and bowl, and I come back down. I, high five everybody. I get my cards. We pick cards for strikes and stuff. We play poker. Mm-hmm. And then I'll look at the app again and keep reading. It just keeps me focused on what I need to do. And of course, because of my ADD, it helps to have, my ADD medication has been wondrous. My bowling average went up 15 pins last year when I started taking it because I could never get focused when I tried to bowl. And I decided one night to go ahead and take it and see what happens. And I've never been so focused in my life. And it's just a lack of that dopamine. It's a dopamine scarcity in your frontal cortex where it's really easy to get distracted. And that's one thing you can't be in bowling, man. And that's why I have that system that I use. And I know none of my bowling friends listen to this podcast, so they won't use it against me. But yeah, it's just, I was just curious how you're doing. Congrats, man. 300 games, and you're not even 25 yet. I'm sorry, you're not even 30 yet. Okay, fine. I threw my first 300 in 2007. I don't want do the math there, but I was pretty old. I was well into that. And I taught myself how to bowl. I never took instruction. I learned when I was 15. I learned what a fingertip ball was, and I literally had my own style. People always wonder, how can you throw a ball with one arm? And it's just, I just got a lot of strength, and I don't throw it really fast. I throw like 16 miles an hour. What are you throwing at? Probably 20? You put a lot. Is your backswing way up here?
Ooh,
oh, you cradle it.
Yes, I'm a cradle.
It's all legs.
But, so earlier when I was saying that I was doing it before everybody else.
And people called you short round.
Yep. So Jason Belmonte was just making his debut in like 2009 and stuff. So he's Belmonte's a really famous Aussie professional bowler that uses two fingers. So I started watching him when I was like 9 or 10. Well, it wasn't until like senior year in high school, my best friend was dating a bowler. So a lot of the dates was at the bowling alley, and I would third wheel.
Right.
So that's how I got into bowling, was that. Well, when I graduated high school, I had a 160 average.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't happy with that. I wanted to get better. So what I did is I went and got a job at the bowling alley that lived 5 streets away from. So I would go in before my shift and bowl 6 games for 75 cents a pop, and then do my shift. And then when the bowling alley would close, I'd stay after and do 6 games. And whatever I did in league that week, let's say I missed a bunch of 10 pins. Well, for 6 games in a row, maybe 12 games, I only practiced 10 pins. And do you know what a backup ball is?
Yes.
I can throw a nasty backup ball two-handed, and it looks like I threw the ball left-handed.
Really?
I use it to pick up splits. I use it to pick up my 10 pin every time. Because a lot of times when a right-hander leaves a split, he leaves a pocket on the left side of the lane, whether that's the 4-7, like the 4-7-10. You got a pocket on the left side of the lane.
Right.
Well, when you throw that right-handed hook, your ball might hook over into the gutter before it gets there.
Yeah.
Well, with the backup ball, I just stand to the right of the lane, throw a backup ball at the 7 pin. It comes back off the gutter cap and will shoot the 4 pin over and pick up the 10.
Nice.
They're like, that is insane.
We had
putting the reps in for sure.
We had a 235 average bowler that was on our team, and this dude was crazy, man. He could throw a backup ball. He could reverse his spin with one arm with his right hand. And he got in a car accident, so he's okay, but he couldn't bowl the rest of the year. So we're actually looking for another player, but it's hard to do in mid-season because I wish you could, man. That'd be awesome. That would be fantastic. Yeah, maybe one of these days you'll be able to be down here in Florida, and we'll have a meetup, and we'll go to a bowling alley and throw a few frames and see. Okay. Before we go, I wanted to ask you a few holiday questions. I asked these of Warcry as well. And I realize when this comes out that Christmas will already be over with, but I wanted to ask him anyway. What is your favorite Christmas song? What comes to mind?
One Foot in Front of the Other from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. He's talking to Mr. Warlock. And Warlock was explaining like, I don't know if I can be good. I love
that song.
And he's like, being good is just putting 1 foot in front of the other. And then they just break out into it.
The old claymation. Oh my gosh. I love the claymation. I was raised on the claymation holiday Christmas stuff. Yeah, that's a great callback. It's a good call, man. Do you have a Christmas tradition in your family that you do for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or both every year?
So tradition on Christmas Day, we wake up, open presents, and we have a huge brunch. Like, the whole entire table is filled with food. You can't eat at the table. There's just that much on the dining room. Mm-hmm. We do that. You got a huge array, like apple fritter, waffles, pancakes, French toast, bacon, sausage, breakfast ham, eggs. So the eggs can be scrambled. They might be like easy over, so people can make bagel breakfast sandwiches if they wanted. Then biscuits and gravy, a little plate of fruit. Everything that you can think of is on that table.
I love it. All homemade. My parents do.
my mom's, I made a tradition. So when I was like 16, my parents split. So I wanted to spend time with both parents, keep them both in my life. So what I came up with is I spend all of Christmas Eve, so the December 24th, I spend the entire day with my mom and we watch Christmas movies and maybe we make like cookies or something. We do something all day. And she wants to open presents on Christmas Day. So I stay at her house until midnight, and then at midnight we start opening presents, so I'll be there till like 2 a.m. Christmas Day.
Wow.
But she can open presents with me on Christmas Day and not miss out on that.
That's great.
And then after that's done, I drive to my dad's house, go to sleep for a few hours, wake up, and then do his Christmas thing. So that's my Christmas tradition with my family.
That's awesome, man. So what did you do with your dad? Did I miss that part?
The dad is the one where we do the presents and then have a big brunch.
Oh, beforehand. Gotcha. Okay. That's pretty cool, man. Nice. Yeah, we do something fairly similar. My parents are still together and I think they've celebrated 55 years together. Can't remember, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a good example. That's for sure. For me and my wife, we just celebrated our 32nd year being together.
Congratulations.
35 total, if we don't include marriage. I knew her 3 years before I married her. And I know this is going to sound cheesy, but it's more of a philosophical question. If a magic Christmas angel tapped you on the shoulder while passed out from all the homemade Christmas food and offered you one wish going into 2026, what would you wish for?
I would wish for one more night when I was probably about elementary school age. My mom's side of the family is huge. She's got 3 older brothers. And growing up, there was 13 grandchildren on that side. So Christmas Eve used to be at my uncle's house, and the entire family would be there from noon until like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Wow.
We would do a white elephant for the kids, a white elephant for the adults. My grandma would make sugar cookies, and she had all the different cookie cutter shapes. So each grandchild had their own shape of cookies. So then they'd be like, hey, the trees are John's, the snowmans are so-and-so's, the presents are so-and-so. So nobody could complain about not getting cookies because they're like, nope, these ones are yours specifically.
Nice.
They had all kinds of games in the basement. It was the man cave, but you had a ping pong table, a pool table, foosball. We would watch the Santa tracker, and then about like 9 o'clock, be like, hey, got to get home. Santa's on his way. And so we would wrap it up. So if I could ask for a wish, it would be to go back and enjoy that kind of night just one more time with the entire family.
That's awesome, man. You're a very sentimental guy. I love it. Well, Jellis, thank you, brother, for being on the show tonight. It means a lot. I know I'd love to keep this Christmas tradition going as long as we can. Normally we have yourself and Warcry on, but we had some scheduling issues and we had to separate you guys this year, but we still did it. We still pulled it off. So, hey man, thank you very much for being on the show tonight. I'm sure a lot of longtime listeners are wanting to catch up and see how you've been, man, and keep killing it, man. Just keep killing it out there. Keep going for it. Don't sink to mediocrity. Keep pushing yourself, and man, I'm telling you, you'll go places, man. I really do believe that you will. So
I appreciate that, and thank you for having me back again this year on the show. I really enjoy talking to you and reaching out with the community. Whether it's people that I do play with or others that are just longtime listeners.
And thank you also for all the years of support. I know you're one of our highest tier patrons, man, and it never goes unchecked with me. I realize the amount of help that you give to our community helps fund a lot of our stuff that we like to keep going here. So thank you, sir, for that as well. Appreciate you.
Of course, everybody's getting use out of it. So it's not like a money grab for, not saying you're a money grabber, but like some people like kind of turn that into like that's a profit for them. But you fully put it back into the show for ad free, the Discord server boost. Like everybody sees what's going on, and I really appreciate that. So I know it's going to the right place.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't I think I bought one piece of equipment years ago that I needed badly, was a mixing board. Other than that, it's always gone back to services that we provide for the community. So it's really awesome. So again, Jellis, thank you, sir. Is there anywhere that you would like people to find you on the interwebs out there? Are you still streaming? Are you doing anything like that still, or probably pretty
So I had
busy?
to take yeah, I'm a little busy on the streaming part, but everybody can find me in the Discord as Jellis. If you see me on, feel free to just message me if you want to play a game. I don't care what activity it is. If you need help, I'm more than happy to help people with dungeons, raids. I've done a little bit of Sherping, but it doesn't bother me. I like just playing the game with people and enjoying the time, because that's what the games are for, is community building, and
Yeah.
you're there to de-stress from your work life or your family life, whatever it is. It's meant to be a distraction.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just enjoy being on the game.
Well, I tell you what, man, you are well mature beyond your years. You've always have been. That's what's always impressed me. So maybe we'll get into a match of Arc Raiders down the road. Maybe we'll see.
I look forward to it.
All right, man. Are you jealous? That's a callback. All right. Thank you, brother.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? Native Raider here, and you're listening to Guardian Downcast. Let's get it.
Before we go, some final thoughts to wrap up the show this week. For the record, this episode was, which I'm sure you're now aware of, was recorded before the Christmas holiday, but I'm really glad that Warcry and Jellis were able to join me as we have taken our holiday break now. Kingsley Mack and I will be back live this Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, if you want to hear and watch the podcast before it's released on Monday. So stop by and get into the conversation this week, as we really enjoy interacting with our audience, whether it's from our Discord, YouTube, or our Twitch chats. We'll be sure to have another topic of the week. Of course, Mike and I will catch up with our holiday break. Bungie will also have another blog post this week, and I'm sure we'll be commenting on that. So I hope you'll join us then. If you have any questions for this show before our show goes live this Thursday, be sure to drop them in our Discord podcast questions channel, or you can send us a voicemail. Just go to guardiandowncast.com. Be sure to check out my new solo podcast as well. I started it up in October. It's called 50 Years Experience Required. It's all about observations and stories from my life growing up, and I just released a new episode before the year ended entitled 7 Things I Wish I Knew When I Was Younger. It covers some topics that might benefit you today that I had to learn the hard way. So just go to 50yearspod.com. That's 50yearspod.com to check out all the episodes. Or, of course, you can go to Apple, Spotify, and all the other podcast apps out there. So I hope you'll listen and let me know how you feel about it. You can send me some feedback for that at 50yearsexperiencerequired@gmail.com, or send me a voicemail at speakpipe.com/50 years. Big shout out to our Patreon members, and a new shout out to an upgraded Patreon member. That would be the Scarlet KM. He just upgraded his Gatorade membership to a Fist Bump. Fist Bump membership. Thank you, sir. Quick shout out to our Dungeon Champion patron. That's Deadpool1 Merc. A thank you to our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jellis, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Remember, all of our Patreon funds go right back into our community. All our subs, all our Twitch subs, all of that stuff goes right back into supporting the Destiny community that we've started ever since 2019. So we appreciate everything you do. So thank you, patrons. And if you want to become a patron, just check it out. guardiandowncast.com/patron. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection for our new listeners out there. We have 336 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community, whether we're talking Destiny or whatever, on our roundtable episodes, which we will have one coming up soon in January. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, the only way we grow is by you telling other Guardians about our show. Everything's at Guardian Downcast. A special shout out to our community moderators and administration, our members of our Discord community for helping out all those new lights that find us every week, and also keep our community going. I did want to reiterate that we are not an LFG service Discord. There's tons of streamers out there that do that already. So But if you want a chill place to hang out with other adult gamers that enjoy Destiny and other games, we welcome you. Our community is always very welcoming, so don't hesitate, jump in, and say hi to us. Remember, as you're enjoying Renegades, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass. Warcry and Jellis. Thanks, guys. Remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, your Destiny. And please be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening, and whether in life or in your game, get your reps in. And later, Guardian. I'm going to answer this too. What would I say? I would go with, that is a good question, isn't it? So many people I admire. I would go with the YouTuber. I would go with, and it's probably not a popular answer, but I'd like to sit down with the two-time.
Okay.
I'd like to sit down with this guy and just see what makes him tick. Guy just seems like an interesting dude, even though he's had a checkered past with God knows what, but I would like to just know what makes this guy tick, before he sits down in front of a camera and, transmit live to everybody. I'd be like, you know what it reminds me of? Stormship Troopers? Starship Troopers.
Starship.